Okay, so this is the last day of ICAS, International Council of Airshows, which is an organization that is dedicated to air shows. And this guy, Cookie, is one of the guys that makes the magic happen. And so what I thought would be really cool is to interview an Airboss and let you all understand what an Airboss is. So what is an Airboss?
Well, that's a good question. What is an Airboss? I say the director of the air show, but I'm the stage manager or the race director, or however you want to call it, that runs the show, keeps the show on time, makes it entertaining. Is the event telling a story? Mm-hmm. Is there some sort of theme? You know, when we were at Houston this last year, we were focusing a lot on World War II and some of those items. And how do I take an event that has two B-29s flying together, which is rare.
Whoa, so cool too.
And tell the story, and in a timely manner, so that things work through, either chronologically, or there's not a lot of gap for the
But you mentioned telling the story, and in the way that you're doing the telling of the story is in a way that no one else but the pilots even hear your voice.
Correct.
You are completely behind the scenes, and that's why I think let's make sure they're still on. Good. That's why I think it's so important that people understand that they may never even know about an Airboss, but essentially you're the one who's running the show. I know you're a humble guy and you never say it that way, but the safety starts with your oversight and the routine that you create and the choreography, if that's the right way, right, to say it?
Well, it is. It depends on who it is. An example: a performer comes in and they have a set routine. Perfect. I know that routine. You know, I may be familiar with that routine, so I watch it for safety. I try to set the tone of the day with the performer's safety brief. Kind of go through those different items. You know, one of the things.
And that happens every morning.
Every morning before we go fly.
And they start on time.
Yes, they do, because timing is everything.
Right.
And it sets the tone. It sets the tone. If you're starting on time, we go through it. I don't waste a lot of time with it. I make it clear and concise as best I can.
Yeah.
But I go through the schedule. One of the things that I bring up all the time is, which one of these factors are going to influence your decision making? Whether it's complacency, you're at the end of the show season, you're tired, you're thinking about, what do you have to do during the winter? Right. I run through the schedule. I'm a liaison. I work on behalf of the performers for their safety and to make sure that the show is good and safe for them, as well as the layout. I work for the air show director and the promoter to make sure that I'm bringing their vision that they want.
Right.
I'm a liaison working with the FAA. FAA is providing oversight, so I'm trying to make sure everybody has.
You essentially are a representative of the FAA on that day, in a sense, right?
Well, I work with the FAA. That's the biggest thing. I work with the FAA to make sure that it is.
Hold on just a second, make sure that stays. Okay, now it's going to stay on. All right, so you work with the FAA.
Yeah, the FAA, the way I look at it, or the way we talk about it, is with the FAA is we are all on the same team.
Right.
We all want to have a safe, informative, entertaining event. The FAA is my oversight, and so I try to I make sure that the show is following all the different rules that the FAA has, and if there's ever a situation or a concern or something we can fix, because every show has its own individual challenge, I'm working with the FAA to, an example. Yeah, that marker isn't in the best place. We're going to move that.
Right.
But I'm
and
working
the markers
with them.
are what define where the pilots can take their aircraft and where they can't.
How close they can get to the crowd.
Right.
Because we do have a 500-foot buffer around the spectator area.
Right.
And so those are things that we're
And I think
watching
that's
for.
one of the things about air shows that people might not realize, because it seems like chaos with all these things blowing up and things happening and what have you. But it is such a routine for you all. It is
everything,
and for us, I should say.
Everything we do in the air show business is routine.
Yeah.
We try not to create something new.
Right.
If something is created, if something is new, it's already been rehearsed. and practiced
Right.
and rehearsed and practiced over and over and over again and reviewed before they bring it to an air show.
Yeah, and you had something, I can't remember what it was, but you had me go out and be over here for a minute because there was something that was going on at the air show where you needed me just to be out of the box.
Yeah.
And I remember what it was now, but you had already briefed it that morning with all of us. If something happens, this is what you're going to do. This is what I'm going to say. So when you did that, even the non-routine became routine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the part where we, simple plain language works out really well.
Yeah.
I just need you to go hold behind the crowd, 1,500-foot AGL, till I fix this situation, whatever that may be.
Right. Okay, so let's just start off with what happens in the airspace itself, because some people, I know this, some people I've known have just thought that, oh, well, they can do this at this air show, therefore I can do the same thing at my field or whatever.
Oh,
but it's absolutely wrong.
Absolutely wrong. When we do an air show, we make a waivered airspace demonstration area, which is typically 5 nautical miles, a 5 nautical mile surface circle surface to pick an altitude, 5,000 feet,
Right.
10,000 feet, 15,000 feet. If it's with the Thunderbirds or a jet team,
Right.
that's going to be there. We waive multiple federal aviation regulations, multiple FARs.
You have a certificate of waiver.
Yes, that's put in. And that's through coordination with the FAA, the local FSDO office. Here's the area that we're going to be operating from. Here's the lines that we're going to be using. It's in coordination with air traffic control. It's in coordination with the airport. There's a lot of different agencies that we have to work through. But it is just for that specific event, that specific time frame, that specific airspace.
Right. And you have that waiver, that certificate of waiver, and then you have a very defined airspace that you can operate in, and within that airspace there's something called a box.
Yep.
So tell people what a box is.
So an aerobatic box is the place that somebody can do aerobatics. It has certain limitations based on the speed of the aircraft, with no aircraft coming closer than 500 feet from the crowd. That's your category 3 line, 500 feet, all flybys, everything. Everybody's 500 feet away from the primary laterally away from the primary spectator area. There's altitude restrictions based on what level of capability or endorsement that the performer has for their aerobatic competency, whether it's 800 feet, 650 or 500 feet and 250, and then all the way down to the
surface level.
Yeah, when they're down to the surface, they can go down to the surface.
Yeah.
But they have to be that way, and they have to stay depending on, if it's just a straight flyby, non-aerobatic, 500-foot show line, no problem. If it's a high-speed airplane like a MiG or a jet, well, they have to remain 1,500 feet away on the Category 1 show line.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of different things that you have. The aerobatic box can range from 1,800 feet wide. It can range from about 1,000 feet wide all the way out to 3,000 feet wide. 6,000 feet long is kind of the traditional one. You can go a little shorter if you're dealing with the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels. You have a 12,000 foot long box. So you're talking miles away from show center.
Right.
In each, over a mile in each direction from show center.
Right.
That we have to do, and so there's different things that you have to coordinate. There is what type of obstructions are in the box.
Right.
Is there anything that's going to be in the aerobatic box that has people in it?
Right.
Those people can't be there during the aerobatics.
Right.
So, how do we make that work?
So safety is such a big concern for all of us in aviation. And the International Council of Airshows and the FAA and the performers and people who make the shows happen are really focused on safety. And what I think, I just actually learned this, the last time there was a spectator fatality was decades and decades ago. In reality, one of the safest places you can be on any given day is at an air show, except you need to be wearing hearing protection. Seriously. It's loud, right? Yeah. It's loud.
What did you say?
Right. But I mean, it's a very, very safe environment. As a matter of fact, I hope I can say this without cracking up. Like there was a fatality of a pilot in my home, Middle Tennessee, at the Great Tennessee Air Show, wherein ejection simply would not have been possible, and to have kept the crowd safe. And this person sacrificed, like, it's just, the safety is such a huge concern in how this happens. And that's really ultimately, I mean, your shoulders must get pretty, right? Like, you've got to feel that in a way, because you're the boss.
Well, I look at it as, yes, safety is our number one priority at an air show. We want it to be safe and entertaining. Safety being the first thing. And that's one of my jobs, is to watch what's going on. I've had performers that have gotten, an example, been doing snap rolls on the downline and do one too many, or they're a quarter rotation off, and off they go out the side of the, hey, come on back.
Yeah.
Try to cage them back in. There's, sometimes if I see something that I don't like necessarily, I go ask them about it, and we debrief and we talk about it. There's been plenty of times where I've talked to performers, hey, what happened here, and it tried to explain to me what was going on, because here's what I saw, and it helps bring things. There's been a time where I really jumped onto a performer, like, with, where's your head at, and what can we do? And we try to bring them back. And myself, I've made mistakes too.
Right.
And I have no problem of a performer or another individual asking me a question, calling me out on it. Let's talk about it. What can I do to get better? And how can I make my job, what I do, safer, as well as if a performer?
Well, as I mentioned the other day, I mean, humility is such a major component of safety. And to me, that's one of the things that, not to make you non-humble, but that's one of the things that stood out so much to me from working with you. One, your professionalism for sure, but like the humility with which you approach it, I really appreciate that, Cookie.
We're all on the same team.
Right.
And this is, they say this a lot, but this is family.
Right. Okay, last question. The coolest thing you said to me is, I'm lined up, and you said, and you can use any call sign you want as long as you know who you're talking to and I know who you're talking to, right? Because it's your space.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one in it, right? And you said to me, P-38, cleared for takeoff. You have the airspace. The box is yours. I love that. It was so cool. But what does it mean? Like, what does it mean, so that people can understand, like, what you just said?
Well, when I say you have the airspace in the box, it's all yours to do your profile, your brief profile. It's not just take off and wait. It's, you have the airspace and the box. It's all yours.
Right.
I've cleared everybody out. If there's somebody else that's out there, I'll point them out to you that there's traffic. But you own, when I give you the airspace in the box, you own all of that airspace, 5 nautical miles, for you to maneuver and do what you need to do for your
and
routine.
Safety. So anything that I need to do from that moment when you say that, I have complete ability to safely execute any maneuvers that I need to do to get back on the ground safely.
Correct.
And you keep that space safe for me until I'm back on the ground.
That's absolutely right.
Right. So appreciate you.
No worries. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, it's cool.
Appreciate
right?
it.
Yeah. I think people will enjoy